What is going on, you guys? My name is Rage and I am back today with another video for you all. In today's video, you guys, I want to just give you some quick tips and tricks in regards to where I've been in the game as of late. As you guys may have not noticed, officially now I am a little bit over 9 months into the game. And with that being said, it's been quite a while since I made my last video where I documented my 7-month progress. But as you guys can see here, my total login days now is 281, so that's just a little over 9 months. And just to be able to document this, give you guys a snapshot, but as well, I'm hoping today I can just give you some pointers, what I've noticed as I progress these first 9 months, especially compared to my last 7. And in addition to the growth and how much power I've gained over these last few months, just kind of as a way to track, right? For me, I am a 100% free-to-play player, so as you guys can see here, I've hoarded a boatload of resources at the very top here, and that's just mainly because of resource management, you guys. So for me, it's all about managing your resources, being able to utilize events when they occur, and at the same time, just making the best bang for your buck when those opportunities are available. So diving right in, you guys, just to give you a snapshot of where my player profile is now. These last 2 months there's been a lot of activity, so I've been pretty happy with all the updates and changes. As you guys can see here, my total collection power has significantly grown since the last 2 months because my previous video was when I was prepping and getting ready for Dark Dimension 2, and I'm proud to say that I have officially accomplished now unlocking Ultron as well, my strongest team power being 293k. To be honest with you guys, I'm not really focused individually on my team power, so that's why you'll see that my arena rank is generally in the 150 to 250 range, because I still want to get a decent risk to reward, but at the same time, I don't want to stress and spend too much time in the arena if I don't need to do so. So what I mean by that then is, you guys, you see here and you check the rewards for arena, I'm pretty comfortable in that 100 250 range, just getting about 100 cores. For me to get to the 50 to 100, I do have to put a little bit extra effort, and to be honest with you, there's just times where I'm out and about. I do have a full-time job as well, so I just don't have the opportunity to be really high maintenance on that. And at the same time, I'm just not in focus in terms of building 5 top characters right now for arena, just because I am interested as well as making videos for when I'm able to unlock certain nodes. Currently I'm working on campaign Hero 7 for you guys, going through from 7.7 to 7.9, unlocking Colossus. I'm also trying to build a roster that can work on the Doom roster so you guys can see the minimum power. So that's kind of been what's going on in terms of how I've been leveling. With that being said, you guys, one of my pointers for you is, as I touched on earlier, resource management is really big deal. So you guys are probably thinking, wait a minute, Rage, how the heck do you have almost 35 million in gold here? Well, one of my most recent videos that I made, actually, it's where I pulled over 100 gold orbs, and that's mainly due to the fact that Dark Dimension 2 and Dark Dimension 1 ultimately allowed me to do that. So when you guys are able to go through, just keep that in mind. And I've basically just been rationing my gold at this point because I generally only go hard with the gold usage when there's really big events. So for instance, what I mean by that is for me, there's a risk to reward. I do like to capitalize on the power core, so you see that generally on a day-to-day basis, I do like to just spend about 1 million gold because it allows me still to have that power core's additional bonus here. And anything after that 1 million, as you guys see here, it's just additive benefits. You don't really get extra benefits on top of that. So for me, it's about when can you use the gold that best provides value for your account and benefits you. So for me, it's that 1 million mark. With that being said, there's exceptions, right? So as you guys may not have noticed in the blog, Emma Frost is coming back for another running, and that's when I do capitalize on that because I want to get as much Emma Frost shards as I can, and that's when I'll go over that threshold, especially if I want to get ultimately getting a 5-6 star Emma. So for me right now, currently, I do have her, I believe at, sorry, I must have passed her. I do have her at about, I believe, 4 stars right now. Yeah, so as you guys can see, at 4 red. So I'm gonna have to do some math calculations here, but ultimately, by the time the third recurring event comes, I do want to see if I can aim for that 6 star. So we'll see how that goes for the milestone. But that's kind of just a little bit of insight in terms of what goes through my mind. with that being said, that's how I manage my resources. The same way I treat my gold is the same way I treat, obviously, my power cores. For power cores, as you can see, I have 8,300 right now, but I generally only use them for events. So it's funny we bring that up because my most recent video, I made a point on this with the Parasitic Intentions event. You know, this is where I'm going to go hard with power cores because I definitely want to maximize getting as much Scream shards as we can, just due to the fact that she's going to be an absolute game changer for the symbiotes, and especially with anti-venom coming into the game as well. So what I mean by that is you guys can go hit up the energy up here and you can do the refreshes, right? And generally this is where I would like to capitalize on the power cores. I very rarely use it for the supply store just because I'm pretty patient. I don't need to hit the refresh if I don't need it. And honestly, this game is all about you know, it's not a race. It's definitely gonna be a crunch. It's gonna be grinding. It's gonna be just putting down and having a game plan and just sticking to it, right? So with that being said, that's how I manage my resources, just for reference, you guys. Moving on then, I guess, like in terms of what I can share in terms of advice for newer players, especially mid-game players, it's really just being aware of what the event's going on. You know, as you guys may or may not have noticed, even if you set the game down for a month, if you come back, you're gonna see that they just have an amazing amount of updates recently, and they're continually updating continually. So you just have to be aware of that. So for instance, the Scream event right now, the capitalize on the shards, Emma Frost is coming back. We as free-to-play players, we have to take advantage of those events because they're limited time, and because of that, that gives us the opportunity to be really able to push ourselves forward in our career path, especially with the where our account's going, right? So definitely, you gotta keep those in mind. And with that being said, there are weekly blog updates, so just be aware of that on the Marvel Strike Force website. Moving on then as well, you guys, with those changes, you know, I'm sure you may have noticed as well, the biggest thing in this game is really just being able to capitalize and getting as many legendaries as you can. My recent video that I've made on my progress, I believe I only had 5 legendaries, and as you guys can see here now, with the inclusion of Ultron, I do have 8. So another tip for you guys is just being proactive, being aware of which events are coming up. I do believe the next event is going to be, I think they mentioned it before, but it's going to be Star-Lord again, right? So you bet I'm going to go ahead and try to unlock the 6-star, the 6 yellow star for Star-Lord, but just being mindful of which events are coming up. I'm still farming for Phoenix right now. I'm close to Doc Ock here. Really, the only outlier for me is Negasonic being required. And then Nick Fury, I have all the 5 Kree characters now ready to go. So just really being aware of which characters you need and being ready for those legendary events when they come. Because I gotta say, this game is way more fun when you have these legendary characters, and these legendary characters are game changers. So especially with the recent completion of my Dark Dimension 2, you guys. So I'm just gonna quickly go through these last 2-3 months in terms of the characters I've been utilizing the most. You know, definitely it's already right here that you can see here, but Black Bolt, Invisible Woman, Shuri, Ebony Maw, Ultron, these 5 legendaries are definitely utilized in my roster in terms of either in raids, arena battles, and as well as part of them were being utilized for my Dark Dimension 2 as well. But ultimately, you bet I'm going to try to build some of these guys for Dark Dimension 3 as well, which is currently what I'm working towards. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to use Star-Lord and Magneto as much, and to be honest, I just haven't had the time to really invest because, you know, with the limited amount of gold each day that I want to maximize, I definitely haven't utilized them to the best of my abilities. And as well, I've been working on Emma as well, so, you know, that definitely things to keep in mind. With that being said, aside from the non-legendary characters, you guys, I would say right now, as of late, it's definitely been Hela, Symbiote Spider-Man, Minerva's great, she's amazing for raids, and as well as the Asgardians. So, you know, Asgardians are still on the top of my list, especially with Thor and Loki. Loki's been mainly utilized in my arena. I've been very, very happy with the Avengers rework as well. So that's why you see some of my Avengers, including Hulk, Captain America here, being higher up on my power listing now. With that being said, you guys, you know, I want to stress that Defenders, you know, as you can see, my Defenders here are 46k for Iron Fist. Luke Cage is 42. Jessica Jones, they were higher because of the fact that they were utilized for my Dark Dimension 1. To be honest, I don't think you need them that high. I think around the 35 to 40k range will still do the job for Dark Dimension 1, but that's the reason why they're higher up. If you guys may have noticed, they're not really a late game team, but I definitely use them in Dark Dimension 1, as I think a lot of newer players will have access to them from the get-go. So just a heads up, they're not completely they're not completely useless by the late game. I definitely utilize them as a big part of my Dark Dimension 1 completion. But definitely when I got Ultron Dark Dimension 2, that's really what pushed me over the top. with that being said, you guys, going down the list again. As you can see here, yeah, Hawkeye, Black Widow, I'm really happy with the rework, so that's why I've been pumping them up. And just going down the list here, something to keep in mind as well, you guys, you know, especially characters with the symbiote, especially Carnage. That's going to be my next key focus here, because with Anti-Venom and Scream coming out, it's going to be absolutely huge. I feel like this team is going to be a top 3 team in the game, as well as for raids, even Dark Dimension 2 and Dark Dimension 3, just because of their sustainability now, especially with Anti-Venom having the ability to actually revive. So as you guys can see here, I'm still working on Emma Frost, just trying to boost her up, but you bet the next event coming, I'm going to definitely pour more resources into her. So just be mindful of that, you guys. And then with that being said, after that, it kind of trickles off a little bit here. As you guys can see, the jump, right? So haven't really invested too much in the Sinister Six yet. And I'm still working, as you guys can see here, with my Proxima Midnight and Call Obsidian, as well as Corvus. I still need to focus on building these guys for the Black Order. But like I said, unfortunately, there's only a certain amount of resources you can utilize in the game. And that's what matters to me right now. I want to have a fine balance between tuning up my top characters, including my legendaries, you know, and as well as being able to prepare for the upcoming legendaries. So I'm on track to get Phoenix for the next running. I'm on track for Nick Fury. And hopefully for Doc Ock, you know, I really just need to be able to unlock the Doom stages. And you bet I'm going to make videos on that for you guys as well. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of insight in terms of the most recently utilized characters, in terms of being able to build that roster for your late game potential. Cleaning house here, just a couple of side tips and tricks for you guys in terms of what I've noticed. Anything to kind of help you newer players out. Keep in mind, now that I've pretty much gotten to the point where I've gotten the characters I've needed, and there's only very minimal characters that I have, you know, the biggest thing, you guys, is just being able to achieve those events. As well, my little pointer for you is, if you guys don't have specific characters that you need in Blitz, as well as Raid, I always, you know, highly recommend you guys opening the orbs instead of achieving the actual individual character shards, just because of the fact that for these orbs, you actually get about... Oh, well, here, I'll open them up for you right now just to show you. You get a total of 9 shards here for the cost of 900. Or, if you go to the regular one here, you know, you're paying 1125 here for Oracle for 5 shards. So, the value is almost double. That's why it's such a big deal here to understand that, you guys. So, just a heads up, you know, so you have the opportunity to do so. I do always recommend opening orbs as opposed to actually using the regular character shards. The only exception is if you guys need a character shard to unlock a legendary character potentially, then you may want to maximize both, right? And then otherwise, just being able to check on the stores when it refreshes, you know, making sure that you're building towards what you guys need for your rosters. Just keep that in mind when you're building up the resources for sure. Additionally, you guys, you know, there's just other events to be wary of, right? So, you know, I mentioned the Scream event, Emma Frost, but also just be in mind of capitalizing on those opportunities. Like every Sunday, we do have those the Blitz event for in terms of being able to. It's the Blue Orb event as well as the Red Star. Just seeing, making sure that you maximize those Blitz milestones. You know, it's nice that there is going to be an auto Blitz coming later this winter, so that's going to definitely help the players that definitely got into that grind and whatnot. So just keep that in mind, you guys. And additionally, if you can capitalize on these awards every Sunday, you know, you're going to just be able to propel your account forward. I know I definitely didn't take advantage of the very beginning because I didn't understand. And I do have a video on blitzing as well, so definitely check that out if you guys are confused about the blitzing process. But that's a heads up there. And with that being said, you guys, the last thing I want to touch on is just because it's the most recent update, and I definitely think it adds a lot of value. What I've been kind of dipping my feet in recently is the ISO 8. So just keep in mind, you don't have to do this right away, but you know, if you guys go here to any character, you hit the right box here, and you're not sure what each one does, just hit the middle here. Essentially what you need, you guys, just for high level, you basically need a different ISO 8 piece, and each one adds a different value. So as you can see here, this one's armor, this one's resistance, this one is health, focus, and damage. And once you have a level for each one of them, it grants you a centerpiece. The centerpiece, then you can decide which one you want to choose. So there's striker, fortifier, healer, skirmisher, and raider. And just keep that in mind. As you guys can see here, I am saving quite a bit right now for my ISO 8, because to be honest with you, I'm still kind of playing it by ear and kind of doing research, seeing which one's the best. But dipping your feet into level 1 just opens the door right now, because first of all, look at all these values I'm getting, because it is added to your overall power level. So as you can see here, even a level 1, it's granting me an additional boost in health, damage, armor, resistance as well as focus, so it just helps your character overall. But just keep that in mind going forward, and make sure you guys save this for if you ultimately know which character you want to build, because definitely this is going to be nice to just have that multiplying effect with the red star as well as your yellow star. So keep that in mind. It's going to really push us to the next level in terms of being able to open more doors for newer players. So newer players are going to have a lot of access to characters, especially their power level being a lot higher threshold than before now. Just keep that in mind going forward, right? With that being said, you guys, unfortunately, there are limited time events with the ISO 8, so I don't know if you guys have had a chance to maximize on this, but the full matrix event has been amazing, just because when you're able to go to the very bottom to the milestone 25, they do give you a significant amount of reward here. As you can see, a 7,500 of the T1 ion, so just keep that in mind. Hopefully they have more events like this going forward in the future, but just keep that in mind going forward. That in a nutshell has basically been what I've been up to. I'm currently working on these next characters just for building up for Dark Dimension 3. I also know it's not a race, so I'm having fun right now with this, you guys. I'm aiming for the legendaries that I still have left to unlock. So if you guys haven't already, I did create a YouTube video as well, collaboration with Beyond the Tube, where we actually kind of outline a walkthrough in terms of what the legendary progression ideally can be for newer players to mid-game players. So just check that out if you guys are a little unsure about which legendaries to build. But definitely at the end of the day, it's gonna be dependent on the character shards that you have as well. So just keep that in mind, as well as the upcoming legendary events. So as always, you guys, this is my 9-month progress review. So hope this was able to give you guys insight in terms of what a free-to-play account can look like in 9 months. And again, you guys, like I said, for me, it's definitely not a race. It's a marathon. I'm just trying to gauge, have fun with the game, enjoy the updates as they come, because there's some exciting times coming, especially with the symbiotes, auto blitz. As always, you guys, thank you for watching. I do appreciate you always checking out my videos and channel, and I'll see you in the next one.